Do you remember your favorite place as a child? This was mine. This is Lake Atitlan in Guatemala. It's where I was baptized when I was 3 months old. It's where I learned how to swim. And it's where I spent my summers with my best friends, my cousins. Despite my Italian-Irish name, I'm Guatemalan. You might be wondering, how did a Kennedy end up in Guatemala? My story begins with an 18-year-old boy who enlisted as a pilot in World War II. He was sent off to fight in the Pacific, and tragically one day, his plane was shot down and he lost his left leg. On his way home, his carrier stopped in Guatemala, where he fell in love with the country, the lake, and he stayed forever. That young man was my grandfather, Arthur Kennedy. Spending the summers visiting my grandparents was a Swiss Family Robinson adventure that I never wanted to leave. This lake did not only influence my childhood, it influenced all of yours. It's where one of the most famous fairy tales of all time was inspired and written, The Little Prince and the Three Volcanoes. Aldous Huxley's Brave New World was also inspired and written at the lake. In fact, he proclaimed the lake more beautiful than Lake Como. Imagine the greatest tale of dystopia written at the greatest utopia. Pablo Neruda, actress Ingrid Bergman, and revolutionary Che Guevara all were inspired by the lake. It's the most influential lake that you probably have never heard of. In the Mayan language, Atitlan means the place where rainbows are born, and Guatemala means the land of eternal spring. It's been considered the 8th world wonder and one of the most sacred places on the planet. And at the bottom of the lake lies a buried treasure, an ancient Mayan civilization referred to as the Mayan Atlantis, only discovered a few years ago. And it's also home to a vanishing culture of Mayan people who have lived in the surrounding 14 villages for centuries. They wear their beautiful Mayan textiles with pride. In 2009, I returned to the lake for Thanksgiving to visit my grandparents like I usually do, and I was heartbroken to discover the lake in this condition. Imagine a lake 3 times the size of Manhattan covered in sewage water. NASA called it one of the worst disasters to occur on the planet. It was so bad you could see the contamination from space. So how did this happen to my lake? Back in the 50s, the government, hoping to stimulate the local fishing economy, imported a bass that was not natural to the ecosystem. This invasive bass ate the animals that would normally keep this blue-green algae in check. Years of agricultural runoff, and finally, Hurricane Stan wiped out a sanitation plant. It got worse, though. I saw little girls collecting the dirty water to drink. When I thought it couldn't get any worse, it did. I went to the local market, and they were empty. I spoke with a vendor there, Maria, who said she had only sold a handful of items as the tourists had stopped coming. And if it continued, she did not know how she was going to feed her children. I ran home that day to tell my grandfather about everything that I had seen, the contamination, the girls collecting the dirty water, and the empty markets. I felt powerless. I asked him, how can one person possibly help this situation? He said, Francesca, you have all of the answers right here. Nothing is impossible. And he had proven that to me his entire life. Despite having only one leg, he did what most people said was impossible. He climbed the Great Wall of China, Machu Picchu, he scuba dived, and he organized the first international hang gliding competition in the world at the lake. So when he told me nothing was impossible, I had faith. And I also had an idea. I ran back to the market to find Maria. I had noticed she was selling beautiful huarache sandals, and I saw the potential to help create a global market for her handmade products. I started IX as a simple idea to help one woman, which morphed into working with over 600 women around the lake. IX is the Mayan word for water, and with every purchase, we provide clean drinking water to the communities there. We have donated water filters for thousands of people. In the process, we've created jobs for women like Maria to help keep their traditions and culture alive by placing their products in stores like J. Crew, Gap, and Anthropologie. Never in Maria's wildest dreams did she imagine her products would be sold all over the world. And the best part is, it's helped her family and community in turn. And we all get to have fun at work. These are some of the IX artisans and me having a little dance party. And this is a picture I took of the lake 2 weeks ago. It's a story of hope. 60% of the lake has been cleaned up thanks to NGOs like Amigos de Atitlan. But if we don't clean up the remaining 40%, the lake will look like this again. And scientists have said we will not be able to fix it. So this is not only about preserving a body of water. This is about preserving the places where we learned how to swim. It's about preserving the culture and traditions of communities like Maria's. It's about preserving the home of the people that inspire us, whether they are everyday people like my grandfather or the legends like the authors and revolutionaries who lived there. Aldous Huxley, who was inspired by the lake, once said, "Human beings have an infinite capacity for taking things for granted." Not only do I hope we can all prove him wrong, I know we all have the capacity within ourselves to be the change we want to see in the world. Hope is possible. We can all find it right here. Thank you.